The Romantic era is the first era to be defined by political and social impact instead of only a period of time. There were many influential poets in Britain during this era, and a lot of revolution. England is introduced to industrialism, while the American, Haitian, and French revolutions are occurring. England also becomes defensive of the values of the home and gender roles. Class divisions between the rich and poor become more severe with industry and labor. In literature, poetry was most esteemed, and poets like William Blake reinforced the visionary aspects of poetry involving aspects of the sublime. Mary Wollstonecraft wrote A Vindication for the Rights of Women in 1792, contradicting common ideas of the domesticated woman. Other authors, such as Mary Shelley and her husband Percy Shelley, were influential in peak romantic literature, such as Frankenstein. Queen Victoria taking the throne was seen as a win for the working-class people, as they believed she resembled them. The government made reform bills to redistribute voting rights, while labor workers worked in deplorable conditions and rallied for better treatment. Britain had colonized a quarter of the globe, but their colonies were starting rebellions. Most of the men in England became literate, causing an explosion in the literature market. The Victorian novel came into existence. Poetry was seen as scholarly but still read often. Writers like Robert Browning and Christina Rossetti wrote about new issues such as female sexuality. Oscar Wilde starts the discussion of figuring out how to define art and suggests art is anything that is useless. Authors like Rudyard Kipling begin to question what Britain's role is in the world and the ethics of colonization. This era ends with Queen Victoria's death in 1901. The 20th and 21st century literature is still being defined, but early 20th century literature often held anxiety about the state of the world, as 2 world wars occurred before 1950. Literature was also affected by advancements in technology, psychology, anthropology, and other takes on human nature. T.S. Eliot's work proposes existential questions and studies the separation between art and artist. Sexuality becomes freer, and women demand more of a place in society, as seen in the ideas involved in Virginia Woolf's work. Short fiction becomes popular, as does the writing style involving stream of consciousness, which can be seen in stories like D.H. Lawrence's Odor of Chrysanthemums and Catherine Mansfield's Garden Party. Many become anti-imperialist, like George Orwell. Literature is supposed to confuse you as you wrestle with what it means to you personally, which is especially relevant in short fiction pieces. Society in general becomes more open-minded and seeking meaning.